One day after a practice with the Wonderballs, Rainbow was told by Spitfire that they weren't going to have any more practice for about a few weeks. So Rainbow Dash thought maybe that she could have some to relax sometimes now. So before she decided to go back to Ponyville, she decided to spend some time with her parents to at least since she hasn't been able to see them for at least a while. But of course, both her parents were so excited to see her. They wanted to see more about her, hearing about her teaching at school and about the Wonderballs. Even if sometimes she knows that they can be annoying, but she still loves them, and she told all about what has happened to them, or at least what she has been doing lately. But then one of them had asked, especially her mother, asked if she had found any special song pony. Perhaps she's had been seeing Soren of the Wonderballs. That made her almost choke her on a drink. Mom, I'm not dating Soren. He's only dating Spitfire. And that made Rainbow not upset, but just surprised that her mother assumed she was dating Soren. And then she even asked why she thought maybe that she was dating Soren. Well, she had seen Rainbow in a distance a lot with Soren, but Rainbow explained that they were mostly during a practice, and that would explain to at least for her mother. And after she was there for a few hours, she decided to go back to Ponyville to see her friends. And of course, only a few days later, Rainbow was told by Pinkie Pie there were a new pony in town, and that they want to have a party to celebrate it. And Rainbow then asked who it was, and Pinkie thought it was a pixie from Trottingham by the name Misty Glow. And Pinkie then told even that Misty Glow were a good friend on out to almost any pony in town. And she made me wonder if she would like to meet her before the party starts. And Rainbow just shook her head, shrugged her shoulders and said, yeah, why not? So where can I find her? She would be at Sweet Apple Lakers with Fluttershy and Applejack. Alright, I can be meeting her there. So Rainbow decided to go there to see this new particular pony. And it turns out that she was going to help Applejack with some of the animals, and that they had even asked Fluttershy to help her just in case if something would go wrong. And it turns out that Misty Glow was quite good with animals. Even she couldn't speak the animals herself, but she were quite understanding much about it. So when Rainbow suddenly appeared, most of her friends were stunned to even see that she was there. But she explained that Pinkie Pie had told her about Misty Glow and she wanted to meet her. So Pinkie Pie was right. There were actually a pixie by the name Misty Glow there. So Rainbow walked up to her, said hi, and suddenly they started talking more about the Wonderballs. It turns out that Misty Glow was a big fan of the Wonderballs, but especially Rainbow Dash. To her, she was the biggest idol she ever could see. Meeting Rainbow Dash like that, face to face, was something that she never expected to ever happen. She knew that Rainbow Dash lived in town, but she didn't expect to be able to see her so often. But she even asked for an autograph, which Rainbow didn't mind write. And even though that when Applejack and Fluttershy was working, they could see how much talking between Misty Glow and Rainbow took place. Mostly about the Wonderballs and more some practice, and she even asked Rainbow if she were able to give her some practice training or like some tips how to be a good flyer or like some do some practice, some like the Wonderballs do. Rainbow has said, Well, not the most. I can do that, but not the most advanced tricks since you are not experienced in that. And of course, Misty Glow didn't mind to try some of the simple ones first because she didn't want to be harming herself in any way. So Rainbow said, "We can do that sometimes, perhaps after the party, maybe the day after the party itself." And Mr. Glow said, "Yeah, they can do that." So rest of the day, they all helped around at the farm and just hanging out, spending time. But the next day at the party, everybody there was so happy to be knowing Misty Glow. She told more about herself, that she is the only child, that her mother still lived in Trottingham, that her father passed away when she was when she was 2 years old after an accident. So she had no siblings, but she has a good friends who still lived in Trottingham. Even the Pinkie Pie were talking to Misty Glow during the party. Rainbow just looked at Misty Glow, thought she was actually a sweet girl. She's a sweet mare, kind, but nothing not much to doubt. But Rainbow, when she was just looking at her, Applejack was walked up to her and said, "So, what do you think about her, Misty Glow?" "Hmm, she's kind, good flyer. So, and what do you think?" "She's strong, honest, like you." Applejack smiled and said, that made Rainbow just smirk and said, "Yeah, you're right. She's not like me. But you know, Pink Rainbow, you should at least give her a try to be at least be with you like more as a friend to do. She has so many friends here, and she wants to be trying to have so many friends as possible here. She's just as she just moved here. I know, Applejack. I can be her friend. Don't worry about it. And since I have no more practice with the Wonderballs for a few weeks, so I can spend a lot of time with her or all of my friends." So the next day, Mr. Glow was waiting outside a town of the meadow for Rainbow Dash. And after only 2 minutes late, she showed up. "Alright," said Rainbow Dash. "Now I want to teach you some of the simple tricks, but you have to pay attention. One simple minor mistake could make that in a very bad ending." And Misty Glow then asked, "What kind of bad ending?" "Well, you might be, if you fly a bit too off from your practice doing the trick, you might either fly in a tree or some bushes or crash into another pony. But don't worry, I will help you to teach any simple ways to make sure you don't do that." So, during the first trick, of course, Misty Glow tried to focus, but she flew right into a bush after a simple mistake. Pink Rainbow just rolled her eyes and said, "Do it again and again." So, after almost an hour, she was good in that particular tricks and some others. "Wow, you're a fast learner." "Thanks, I was always that when I was a kid." "So, tell me more about yourself, or what do you like to do? Like, except from training with one of Wonderballs or doing it like, but your passion. Do you like something else?" But then Mystical told that she loves to read and daring do and even take care of animals. That was actually one of her true passions. She wanted to be a vet. And of course, Rainbow. She's told that we can always do that, as you know. So, after almost 3 hours of training, Mystical was getting tired. And Rainbow noticed that. So she decided that it was enough for today, so they could go maybe to the park or just to turn some restaurant to have something to eat. So they went actually in town to have something to eat. So there, Rainbow told me something about herself, like she was like herself, like Misty Fly. She had always dreamed to be a Wonderbolt for many years, even since she was a filly. by knowing how much training they were to be able to be accepted as a Wonderbolt. And ever since she became one of the first reserves for many years, she was just happy that she was at least accepted to be a reserve, even knowing that it would take her months or perhaps even years to be even to be accepted as a full member of the Wonderbolts. But when that day came, only once a short time later on, she was beyond happiness. And of course, even if that Mr. Fly had the same dream when she was a affiliate, she wanted to be a Wonderbolt. But after almost when she was 12, she decided to give up her dream to be a Wonderbolt, and that made Rainbow shocked. What made her decide to just abandon her dream to be a Wonderbolt? She asked. And Misty Glow then explained that ever since she was 12, she loved animals, even more than anything, even though she loved the Wonderbolts. But her dream to be a vet or a Wonderbolt was some main factor to main cause of that. After that, she was deciding to maybe if she would try to apply for Wonderbolt reserves, or at least something like that, or decide to maybe apply um, for a vet school, or at least training. She did the same both. She applied for Wonderbolt Academy, maybe as one of the younger reserves, or at the vet school. She was accepted to the vet school, or at least a vet practice. So she had a major decision to do. Would she accept that she couldn't be a vet, or try to wait for an answer for the Wonderbolt Academy? So she wrote a letter to Wonderbolt's Academy telling that she will not be able to take care of the application to be as a Wonderbolt. And they wrote back to her saying they understood and hoped for better her life. So that was the main reason why she didn't tell that why she didn't become a Wonderbolt reserve at a young age. If she had would been a Wonderbolt Academy at the time, she might have been able to have been a Wonderbolt early. So, but even she gave up her dream, but she didn't do that on purpose. Even her mother was just happy that she at least had even give that vet school some consideration. But that was one of the few reasons why she later moved to Ponyville, that she wanted to work with Dr. Fauna, who was actually one of the best vets in the country, or at least in the kingdom, and also especially to work with Fluttershy, who was an expert on animals, and also that she could talk to animals. She had a hope that Fluttershy could maybe give her some insights on how to be a better vet, even if she couldn't speak to animals herself. And Rainbow, she understood. And for the rest of the time, when Rainbow had her practice, or at least her free time, she actually spent a lot of time with Mr. Glow. But over time, as the week passed, the Wonderbolt's practice went back to normal, and Mr. Glow didn't see Rainbow as often, which she understood since the Wonderbolts couldn't practice for sometimes for a few days, after about a week in a row. So, but during another time later on, almost 2 months later, when they had another short break for about 2 weeks, the Wonderbolts were since then have a practice only a break for 2 weeks. Even Rainbow had during the particular same time been thinking, like her mother had said, maybe that she should be focused on finding a special sun pony. So when she came back, she decided to at least give it a chance, but exactly how she didn't know. So then she decided maybe to try speed dating after Rarity had given that as an opportunity. So she did give that a try, and she saw there was a lot of mares and stallions at that particular location. But it was just one of them that she immediately recognized, Misty Glow. They managed to talk for a few minutes before the dating process began. And during the process, Rainbow talked to a few stallions and a few bears all the time. But before the end, something did actually happen. Rainbow ended up at the same table as Misty Glow. And then that was when she found out that Misty Glow was actually into both mares and stallions. And Misty Glow were super surprised that she ended up at the table with Rainbow, her friend. But they actually had a good time to get to know each other more. But even after all this happened, Rainbow didn't get any dates or any interest from the first time. But she decided maybe to give it a second time the next day after, so she did. And at the beginning, she ended up at the same table with Misty Glow. And that was a random coincidence that they ended up at the same time. But even after the second time was over, they actually both walked together to the castle where Misty Glow was staying at for a moment. So they were actually just talking and saying that when Rainbow just mentioned how random they end up at the same table twice in 2 days in a row. And even though that Mr. Glow said, I don't mind that. I mean, what's something I actually enjoyed. And then Misty Glow just randomly asked if Rainbow would perhaps even consider to date a mare in just a random ask. And Rainbow just stopped in her tracks and just looked at Mr. Glow with a bit surprised face. And that was something that she never actually considered even to do. She was not imagining against idea, but just no pony had ever asked that before. So she said yes, she would consider date a mare. But since there weren't much any mares that she was interested in town though. But then Mr. Glow said, why don't you go out with me? That was something that Rainbow didn't expect. Of course, she did actually said yes, try to maybe just give a try. And everything just went well between them. Rainbow and, of course, Mr. Glow decided to go on a date the next day to the park, just having a picnic. And of course, they didn't tell their friends about it, because this was something they wanted to keep as a secret. Because there were a lot of friends who had a picnic together in the park or basically anywhere, just friends. So her friends, they thought that she was just having a picnic with a friend. But after a while, after they had a good first date, it seemed to be going quite well between them. So they decided to keep dating. And after being dating for almost 4 weeks, for almost about a month, Rainbow had thought maybe that Misty Glow could have been the right mare for her. So one day, just after practice on the Wonderbolts, she decided to see her family, her parents, just for a short visit. Then her mother then just asked once again if she had considered dating someone. But then Rainbow just randomly said, no, since I'm already dating somebody. Both her mother and her father were very surprised and mostly shocked, because she never considered me dating anyone, at least for a while. So they asked how this stallion were like and what his name were, but when she said that the name of the pony was Misty Glow, and her mother said, but that is a mare's name, isn't it? And Rainbow said, yeah, she is a mare at that dating. And her mother, who were not much as against that particular relationship, just surprised seeing that her daughter was in the mares. So she asked her how long they've been dating. And Rainbow said for almost 2 months. And why haven't she told her, or at least her father, all about this earlier? Rainbow said that she didn't want to say anything because she just wanted to see if this dating would work. She didn't want to give them false hope in her right away. And her father said, we understood. It was the same thing when I first dated your mother. When we first was going out, we were not sure if this was going to work out, and of course, after a while, we decided to give it a try, and after we would get together for at least quite some time, I asked your mother to marry me, and which we did, and we have you. So, from my belief understanding, I understand you, Rainbow. Believe me, I do. And just happy that to hear you have found a mare to be with, which both your mother and I are happy and proud. Maybe you can maybe to bring her out over here for dinner sometimes. Uh, Maybe I must ask her first because I don't want her to be planning this in behind her back, said Rainbow, which both her parents would actually accept it. So the same day when she came back to Pullman, she was waiting to see Misty Glow. And of course, she found her. She was talking to Pinkie Pie and Twilight at the park for some juice things. After they both had left, she saw Rainbow, and they gave each other a hug and a kiss, and Rainbow then explained and asked if she would maybe be interested to have a dinner with her parents. That surprised her, and she was nervous how she would react, well, especially her parents react, but she said they knew about them already. She had told them, and they were supportive. That actually made Misty Glow feel more relief, and she said yes. They decided to go to see them on Friday, since there was no practice for Rainbow that particular day, and since that was also the day when Misty Glow had a day off, so that was perfect time. So on the Friday, even though that Misty Glow already knew that Rainbow's parents knew about her, so but she was still nervous, even if they would like her, if she would make some simple mistake, they would hate her, or if they were telling Rainbow, you should not see her. She made a lot of mistakes. She made a mess in the kitchen or with food. But she didn't. All her days words about her feelings towards Rainbow, and especially how her family, especially her parents, react. But nothing did but the same thing. Everything was just well. Even especially her mother just adored Misty Glow, tearing her about her family history, that she wanted to be a wonderful one day, but she decided to be a vet, and that she was an only child, that she lost her father when she was a young age, and that she was very close to her mother. And then her father asked, so, Misty Glow, have you told your mother about you and Rainbow? And Rainbow just looked at Misty Glow because she didn't even ask that. And Misty Glow shook her head and said, no, I haven't. I haven't even seen her in a while, so I haven't even told her. So they just had decided after the dinner, when they came back to Pulmonville, maybe that they should try to beat Spence to go see her mother in Charlotte Camp. Even Mr. Glow thought maybe it was a good idea, but she, at the same time, was just worried how her mother would react. She had no idea, but she decided to give it a try. So a few days later, they decided to go see her mother. And of course, her mother was so happy to see her daughter. But when she saw Rainbow, she thought maybe that she had brought a friend from Poland. But when she said that was actually her girlfriend, her mother wasn't much upset. She was just a bit surprised that her daughter was dating somebody, at least now. But she was just happy and brought them inside so that maybe had some more comfort to have some tea and something to eat. Of course, her mother asked Rainbow a lot of questions all about herself, where she's from, what she likes to do, what she's doing in her life. After knowing that Rainbow was a wonderful and a teacher at the School of Friendship in Polneville, and also one of the biggest heroes after with among Twilight and her friends, she was just happy to know that she has a good girl, that Mr. Glow has a very good partner in this. But then there was one question that her mother just randomly asked, so Mr. Glow, when is the wedding? That made both choke their almost choking on the tea. Mom, we have been dating that long. And knowing that it was a joke, Maybe one day, said Rainbow. That surprised Misty Glow, but she knew that maybe one day they could have been married. But ever since they only been dating for so short time, they wouldn't want to consider to be dating right away, so they didn't. Even after they had left Trondheim only about a day later, everything seems to be going quite well between them, and nothing happened. But one day, when Rainbow went in Ponyville just for a walk, she saw that Misty Glow were talking to this stallion, and it turns out it was an old friend of her from Trondheim, who was just coming over for a visit. And she heard that he explained to her that he had fallen in love with her only 2 years before she moved away, but he was scared of telling her, and that he asked her now if she would be his girlfriend. But she said that she is already taken, and he asked her. And then she saw Rainbow and said, "Rainbow, over here!" And she waited over her. "This is my girlfriend, Rainbow." "Wait, Rainbow? Of the Wonderbolts? That Rainbow?" "That's correct." "So is there something wrong with that?" "No, I just... Honestly, I didn't expect my friend here to be dating you. I mean, no offense, but you're a big hero. One of the big Wonderbolts and one of the biggest heroes in time. This was something, surprising. And, well, honestly though, I'm just happy for you, Misty Glow. That made her smile and said, "Thanks." So, but the three of them actually spent time the rest of the day together, just hanging out, spend time, just get to know each other. But after almost about 2 years of being dating, Misty Glow went over to see her mother in Trondheim. And while at the same time that Rainbow were having a practice with the Wonderbolts, just having a normal practice for an upcoming show, then Soren and Spitfire, who had been married for about a year, had asked Rainbow if she was ready to marry Misty Glow. But they didn't know that Rainbow had bought a ring in secret. But she was even planning for a proposal to Misty Glow, but she hadn't even just thought when or how to do it, since there were many ways to do it, and she just wanted to make it on a special time, on a special occasion to do it. So, but Soren said, "How about during a picnic on your anniversary? That would be a more special day." Which I did that on with with Spitfire, and Spitfire nodded and said yes, that he did. So Rainbow thought maybe to do that. So Rainbow decided to do that on their 2 years anniversary, which was close by with only a few days apart. But on the day though, she had decided to make a more special. She took with Misty Glow to to the meadow outside town near the lake, where they could have more romantic time. First, she was so nervous how things would react, how this was going to go. But after they had been eating their food, she decided maybe it was time to ask her. So she did. And Misty Glow, when she saw the ring, when after that Rainbow proposed to her, she could not believe it. She was beyond happiness about it. See, she said yes right away. And Rainbow felt so relieved that Misty Glow said yes. And even when they told their friends about this, they were beyond happy. Even Pinkie threw a party to celebrate. And of course, Pinkie Pie, she were one of the biggest parties. She wanted to be at a big party. But they didn't tell their families not until the day after, because Mr. Globe had invited her mother to Ponyville the next day, or at least a few days prior, so there was a perfect time to tell them. And this was also the first time Mr. Glow's mother met Rainbow's parents for the absolute first time. they actually had a good time to know each other. And then was the day when they dropped the big news about the wedding. All her family were just like, what? But they were just happy. And her mother was beyond happy, knowing that her daughter was getting married by her special son Pony were something she wanted for her daughter, Misty Glow. And of course, the wedding was held only about a few weeks later, and Misty Glow had asked Pinky to be her bridesmaid and Fluttershy to be Rainbows. And it was a big party. It was even held at the castle, and even the party itself was lasted almost to a late evening when they decided it was time to go on their honeymoon. And Pinky, she had organized just one last thing though, and that was she had the help with Discord. And they made a big fireworks show to celebrate the end of one thing but the beginning of a new status or time or relationship. And they later went to the Crystal Empire for about a week. But when they came back, everything was back to normal. Pinkie Pie, that Rainbow was still part of the Wonderballs and a teacher, and Miss Glow was part of her work. But after almost being married for about 2 years, they decided maybe it was time to start a family. And they actually had asked Twilight for help. And Mr. Glow decided to be pregnant first, and she had a daughter. And 2 years later, even Rainbow had asked Twilight to help. So she had a son. But later they decided maybe they want to have another child. So Mr. Glow had a second daughter. Even both of them were just beyond happy to have their own family, but not only that, to be married with the special sun pony that they loved the most. Mr. Glow had wondered if she had never had asked Rainbow to go out with her, she would have probably never had this big family with her, and especially though to be married with the one she loved the most. And that's how Mr. Glow and Rainbow Dash found a true love, got a big family. The end.